Hello and welcome to News Central TV. My name is Mazino Peel. Now here are stories making headlines beyond the continent. Now we begin in America, where a shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin has left at least 5 dead, several others injured. The incident occurred shortly before 11 a.m. on Monday. Madison police are investigating the scene and have closed nearby roads. The school, which serves around 390 students, has been evacuated at the time of this report. Nearby schools were also placed in secure hold as a precaution. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes is expected to provide an update on the situation. We'll bring you details in our subsequent bulletins. However, I would like to let our viewers know that these are live scenes right now from the school. Like I said from before, these are live feed from the school as we are covering the situation right now, and we'll continue to bring advanced reports on exactly what's going on. But from what we have heard, 5 are dead currently. There's still information trickling in, and we'll continue to bring you all of the information.
Detectives are amazing. We're going to go and work hard and go through this scene so that we can piece together what exactly happened. Again, there'll be another briefing in about 2 hours, and if I have additional information, I will certainly let you know what that information is. Again, around 10:57 a.m., officers responded to an active shooter. They responded per our protocol. They found the person who they believe was responsible, who was down, deceased. We know that it's juvenile. We know that there are other persons who have lost their lives. We know that we've transported about 7 people after giving them life-saving measures. It's important to notice, too, that about 3 miles from here is our training center. Today, our special event team medics were in training. And so they got to practice in real time. They left the training center immediately and came down here and doing in real time what they were actually practicing for. And that's why training is so important, and making sure that we can provide the best possible training and the best possible response for our community members. I'm asking everyone to send your heartfelt wishes and prayers and thoughts yet again to a community, but this time it's my community.
Now, still in America, Japanese tech investor SoftBank has announced a massive $100 billion investment in the United States, expected to create at least 100,000 jobs. SoftBank's chief executive, Masayoshi Son, confirmed the investment alongside U.S. President-elect Donald Trump at his Florida residence. Son expressed that Trump's victory had greatly boosted his confidence in the U.S. economy. I beg your pardon. The investment is part of a SoftBank's Vision Fund focusing on technology investments, including artificial intelligence, robotics, and renewable energy. This significant investment is seen as a major boost to the U.S. economy.
And today, I'm thrilled to announce that SoftBank will be investing $100 billion in America, creating 100,000 American jobs at a minimum.
I'm very, very excited. I would really like to celebrate the great victory of President Trump. And my confidence level to the economy of the United States has tremendously increased with his victory. So because of that, I'm now excited to commit this $100 billion and 100,000 jobs into the United States.
And now we head to Europe, where President Vladimir Putin has claimed that Russian forces have gained the upper hand along Ukraine's front lines and are accelerating their advance. Speaking during a televised meeting with military leader, Putin said Russian troops are holding the strategic initiative across the entire contact line. He said Russia had captured 189 Ukrainian settlements this year, calling 2024 a landmark year for Moscow's military campaign. Defense Minister Andrei Belousov reported that Russian forces have seized nearly 4,500 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory this year, advancing by approximately 30 square kilometers daily.
Сразу отмечу, что уходящий год стал знаковым в достижении целей специальной военной операции. Благодаря профессионализму и мужеству наших воинов, героическому труду работников оборонных предприятий или поистине всенародной поддержки армии и флота, российские войска прочно владеют стратегической инициативой на всей линии боевого соприкосновения. Только в текущем году освобождено 189 населенных пунктов.
Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin has also commended his military's acceleration advance in Ukraine, describing 2024 as a landmark year in Moscow's ongoing offensive. He asserted that Russian forces now hold the upper hand along the entire front line, having captured 189 Ukrainian settlements this year. Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov reported that Russian troops had seized nearly 4,500 square kilometers of Ukrainian territory in 2024 alone. The conflict remains fluid, with both Moscow and Kiev striving to strengthen their position on the battlefield ahead of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration.
На войска поступают передовые роботизированные комплексы, в том числе с использованием технологий искусственного интеллекта. Одновременно нужно отладить все вопросы серийного производства и развертывания подобных ударных отечественных систем, в том числе и гиперзвуковых. В ноябре в ответ на удары по территории нашей страны с применением западного оружия он был успешно использован. Использовались баллистическая ракета в безъядерном гиперзвуковом оснащении. В ближайшее время должен быть обеспечен серийный выпуск таких комплексов для защиты безопасности России и наших союзников. И это, безусловно, будет сделано.
Away from that now, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has called for massive investment in defense and security, emphasizing the urgent need for Germany to strengthen its preparedness amid the ongoing war in Ukraine. Speaking ahead of a crucial confidence vote, Scholz stressed that the time for decisive investment in Germany's future is now, particularly in its defense sector. He cited the war in Ukraine, just 2 hours flight away, as a compelling reason to enhance national security. Scholz also addressed concerns about Germany's armed forces, which he described as being in a deplorable state prior to his announcement of a special €100 billion defense fund following Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine.
Heute führt eine hochgerüstete Atommacht Krieg in Europa nur 2 Flugstunden von hier. Wir müssen massiv in unsere Sicherheit und Verteidigung investieren, um diese Herausforderung zu bestehen. Heute sind wir mit schweren wirtschaftlichen Verwerfungen konfrontiert: Energiekrise, Abschottung, unfairer Wettbewerb. Das trifft gerade unsere weltweit vernetzte Wirtschaft härter. Schon gesagt. Ursächlich für meine Entscheidung, die Regierungskoalition zu beenden, war aber etwas anderes. Ursächlich war eine noch viel bedeutendere Frage, nämlich die Frage, ob und wie wir in unser Land investieren. Kraftvoll und entschlossen oder kleinkrämerisch und verzagt. Von dieser Frage hängt alles andere ab: unsere Sicherheit, unser künftiger Wohlstand, die Wettbewerbsfähigkeit unserer Wirtschaft, gute Arbeit und Bildung und nicht zuletzt der soziale Zusammenhalt im Land.
And German Chancellor Olaf Scholz lost the confidence vote in Parliament on Monday, paving the way for an early general election scheduled for 23rd of February. The vote saw 394 deputies in the Bundestag opposing Scholz, while only 207 expressed confidence in his leadership. An additional 116 lawmakers abstained. Scholz's defeat had been widely anticipated after his three-party coalition collapsed last month, plunging the country into political uncertainty. The vote marks a pivotal moment in German politics as the nation prepares for a snap election that could reshape its political landscape. And Australia's Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister, Richard Marles, has described the relationship between Australia and the United Kingdom as family, extending beyond a typical diplomatic friendship. Molez made the remark during a meeting with British counterparts in London alongside Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong. He emphasized that Australia does not have a closer relationship with any other country in the world. The statement follows the signing of a new defense and security cooperation agreement between the two nations in March 2024, modernizing their partnership to address current global challenges.
I see the importance of the UK-Australia relationship as central to our UK interests, central to wider security interests. And we have, and we do stand together, we fight together, and that's a reflection of the deep historic bonds between our two countries. And as Richard, you said over breakfast, we're not just friends, we're family. And in this world of growing global insecurity, the one thing that we can be certain is that the bond and closeness between our two nations has never been more secure.
But what we are now seeing in the present moment is this relationship, as old as it is, being given a strategic contemporary significance. The very fact that we are going to be building together the successor attack class submarine of in our respective navies, which is a huge thing to do, it says so much about the fact that this is not, it is very much
Britain's Security Minister Dan Jarvis has welcomed the court ruling upholding a ban on suspected Chinese spy Yang Tengbo, also known as H6, from entering the country. H6 had become a confidant of Prince Andrew, sparking concerns about national security. The court's decision reinforces the government's efforts to protect the UK from potential espionage threats.
Mr. Speaker, the first duty of any government is national security, so we welcome the court's decision to uphold the Home Office's position in regard to the exclusion of H6, who can now be named as Yang Tengbo. The Special Immigration Appeals Commission concluded that there was a basis for the conclusion that H6 had been in a position to generate relationships with prominent UK figures which could be leveraged for political interference purposes by the Chinese Communist Party, including the United Front Work Department and the Chinese state.
We're going to break now, and when we return, we tell you that Israel closes embassy in Ireland when we get back. Welcome back. Now let's take you to the Middle East. Israel's foreign ministry has announced that it would close its embassy in Ireland, citing that it called Dublin's extreme anti-Israeli policies as a reason. This move further strains its already tense relationship between the two countries. It follows a series of actions by Ireland, including recognizing Palestine as a state and supporting an International Court of Justice case accusing Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. Ireland has also been one of the strongest critics of Israel's military response to the October 7, 2023 Hamas attacks, which triggered the ongoing Gaza conflict. Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris says he regrets Israel's decision, but adds that Ireland cannot be silenced, emphasizing their value for human rights and international law as a nation.
This is the diplomacy of distraction. And I think it is deeply regrettable that they took that decision. They have every right to take that decision to close the embassy. I'd rather it didn't happen. We will continue to engage diplomatically. But nobody's going to silence Ireland. We know right from wrong. We value human rights. We respect international law. We expect international law to be applied consistently. We've been crystal clear in relation to the need for hostages to be released, in our condemnation of Hamas as a despicable terrorist organisation that offers no bright future to anybody in Palestine or in the region. We condemn all attacks on Israel. We say Israel has a right to live in peace and security and a right to defend itself. You can say all of those things and still say the next thing, which is that what the Netanyahu government is doing to innocent civilians in Gaza and in the West Bank is utterly despicable.
And now to further discuss this, I'm joined by Gutson Azu, Global Affairs Analyst. Gutson, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Very much. It's my pleasure. Good evening to you all. Thank you very much.
Now, so let's get started by asking how significant you think this Israeli decision to close its embassy in Dublin is in terms of diplomatic relations between Israel and Ireland.
Well, in the world of international diplomacy, we always look at the sovereignty of each state and its reciprocity relationship with any other conflicting state in the global community. And with the ongoing challenges between Israel and Palestine, which has been going for close to about 50 years now, there have been some countries who are not in absolute acceptance with the way Israel is going about the conflict issue in Gaza, whether in the past or in present time, and even into the future. And Ireland is one of those countries who, over the years, have been advocating for a peaceful resolution between the Israeli and the Palestinians. And Ireland has always been one of the major voices in Europe trying to advocate for the right of the Palestinians and the independence of the state of Palestine. We all know that Ireland was one of the last countries in Europe to actually accept the opening of the Israeli embassy in Dublin in 1993 or so. And also before 1993, Ireland was one of the leading European countries that started advocating for the sovereignty and the self-determination of the Palestinian people. And so this is a historic trend, because Ireland itself sees itself as an anti-colonial European state and anti-occupation state in Europe, because they have a similar experience when they demanded for independence from the United Kingdom, and which at the end of the entire conflict, Ireland was divided into two. And we have the island in Ireland, which is part of the European Union, and we have the Northern Ireland, which due to the conflict of interests in religious line, the Catholic and the Protestants never agree with themselves in Ireland, and so some of them decided to remain as part of an entity of the United Kingdom, and the rest went away to set up what is called today the Republic of Ireland. And so this is one of the historic contexts why Irish sees themselves as an advocate of international law, an advocate of self-determination, sovereignty of nations, equality of nations among the community of nations around the world. But obviously, I see what Israel is looking at, because just recently, Ireland also kind of allowed the Palestinian authorities to open up an embassy in Dublin, which to Israel is going to be a very difficult form of diplomatic deductions to the relationship they may have with Ireland, because it may be difficult for the Israeli to sit on the same table with a diplomat from Palestine, the diplomatic engagement. But then I think this is going to be a very major conflict of interest between Israel and Ireland, not just Ireland, but to a larger extent the European Union, because the discourse at the moment is how Ireland is able to manage the fallout with the Israelis, and not allowing that to reflect the interests of other member states of the European Union, whereby which the Israelis get entangled with a major larger issue with the European Union by trying to play the card of a country that supports the interests of the Israeli people, and the countries that tend to be against the will and the wishes of the Israeli people.
Okay, Godson. Got some very interesting.
It's a major diplomatic issue, which, if not well managed between the two countries, may spill boil over to the relationship between Israel and Europe as an entity, as a whole. And I hope one of the greatest rule of diplomacy is engagement, dialogue. And I believe that both countries should be able to engage more and more in positive dialogue, being able to...
But Godson, before you finish, I have one question. I feel you're rounding up. By the way, thank you for... I asked one question and you gave an entire history class, which was absolutely necessary. Thank you very much for drawing the parallels between Palestine and Ireland. Very similar. But could Israel's embassy's closure in Ireland lead to a broader shift in Israel's foreign policy, particularly in Europe?
Of course, because you can see that they are working now with Moldova to set up a new embassy in Moldova, but that will actually have a serious impact on Jewish communities in Ireland and extended extensively to many Jewish communities across Europe. Because if this relationship is not well managed in a very cordial and mutual manner, to have a balanced benefit for both countries and the communities involved. Because in the last couple of years, Irish has also accepted about 40-something thousand Palestinians, refugees, into Ireland. So there's a huge number of Palestinians that have set up community in Ireland compared to the existing Israeli communities in Ireland, and extensively to Israeli or Palestinian communities in France or in Germany, in Spain, in Greece, even also the country they are trying to open up a new embassy in or extend their new embassy in Moldova. And so it's going to really have a major impact in the future relationship in terms of trust, in terms of confidence, in terms of mutual relationship between Israel, because Israel is in a very delicate situation at the moment, and the conflict in Gaza is building up a huge divide among nations with regards to the interests of Israel. The other conflicting issue here is many of these countries, such as Ireland, have a very strong relationship with the United States. The fact is that if Ireland continue in the way they are going, not trying to be observance of the interests of Israel and the Jewish community in Ireland, then there's going to be a strain between the relationship of Israel and the United States. Majority of the political leaders in the United States have an Irish heritage. Many great Americans have an Irish historic link.
All right, now Godson, I do apologize. I do apologize that I will have to cut you. However, that's a very interesting view of the situation that you have given us. But would like to say thank you very much as we've run out of time on this session. Thank you very much, Godson.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
And that's all on Beyond the Continent this evening. Do remember you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.